Hello class, my name is Janeya Maclin and this is my data analyst project. My project is over Nikes versus Adidas in the retail industry. I chose this project topic because I have been working in retail for a year and I have worked for 3 companies. I have worked for Victoria's Secret, Fabletics, and currently work for Lululemon. As everyone knows, Lululemon and Fabletics are both athletic leisure wear clothing stores. But one thing that I've realized working at both of those companies is that athletic wear has become the new norm since COVID because people work from home now and people work hybrid, which means that they work some days from home and some days in the office, and they don't want to put on regular clothes. So they find something that is the next best thing, which is athletic wear. As you can see here, some of my data sets consist of clothing, accessories, shoes. These are both in the categories of men, women's, and children's. I chose to get the data of the selling price for Adidas, selling price for Nike, the original price for both of these companies when it comes to each product, and the average rating count and the review of each product. I also got all of the different clothing items that are sold at these stores and the different colors and how much of that color is specifically sold. My first data set consisted of, and my visualization consisted of the Nikes and Adidas ranking based on pricing. I did it based on the category, which consisted of accessories, clothing, and shoes. I also did accessories here, clothing, and shoes. As you can see, Adidas has a accessories selling price of $1,303. They have a clothing selling price of $5,266. And for shoes, they have $29,545, which doesn't surprise me because Adidas are known for selling a lot of shoes. Also, they have the common brand of Yeezys, which is ran by Kanye West. So it doesn't surprise me that they sell more shoes than Nike. Furthermore, there were no accessories sold. But as you go down to the Adidas selling price for accessories, it was $845. Furthermore, the Adidas selling price is $7,989 for the clothing. And for shoes, they didn't really have that much at the bottom. Next, we have Nike. Nike has a selling price of $429 of accessories, $45 of accessories, clothing, which is $3,667, $1,222, and $1,526 for shoes. This doesn't surprise me that they sell a little bit more of the clothing than shoes because people like more of the Nike clothing than Adidas clothing because it's trendier. The original selling price for all of these two together was $1,644 for the accessories. For the clothing, it was $6,712, and for the shoes, it was $38,228. And for accessories, it was $1,155. I also did the ranking of the ranking of the category of the average rating of each category, where shoes were coming in at 1, clothing comes in at 3, accessories comes in at 4, and clothing also comes in at 2 for Adidas. And as you go over to Nike, clothing come in at 1, accessories comes in at 2, and shoes comes in at 3, and then accessories comes in at 4. Moving along, I gathered the data of the total selling price of Adidas and Nike together. So Adidas sold all of a total of a selling price of $44,948, which doesn't surprise me because they sell more shoes than Nike. But with Nike having more trendier clothing, they sell a little bit more. Nike has a 6,889 selling price, and altogether they have a 51,837 selling price together. The next visualization I completed was a scatter plot, which showed the average rating and review count of Nike and Adidas products within the United States. So, as you can see here, these are all the different products that Adidas and Nikes carry on the legend. And then it has the different products and the average rating and the review count, which is how many reviews were completed on that particular product and what was the average review for that product. So for the Nike Zone Support and for the Adidas Color Collegiate baseball cap, a 4.5 rating was given, and the average review count consisted of 15 people reviewing that specific product. Going down below, you have the Nike Zone Support, and then you have the Ford Athletics ID duffel bag small, which is a small duffel bag for the Adidas product. The average rating was a 4.8, and for both of those products, the review count consisted of 14 people reviewing that product. As you go over a little bit more, you have the Charlotte Hornets, which is a jersey from Nike, and then you have the Era Ready 3 Stripes 8-inch shorts, which is Adidas. They didn't really have an average rating, but they had a review count of 667 customers, which that is a lot of people. Moving along, you have the Nike Dry Fit, Crucial Catch, and then you have the Adidas Cross Hybrid shorts. The average rating was a 4.5 for both of those items, and they didn't have a review count, which is okay. As you move to the other side, you have the Nike Zone Support, and then you have the 4 Cement 4 Panel Rain Ready Running Training Cycling Cap, which is a hat. The average rating for both of those products were a 4.7, which is pretty high, and the average review count was 11. Next, I have the Nikes and Adidas product count based on name and category. So these are all of the different products, and as you can see, this is the category which consisted of clothing. And as you move along, you should have accessories, shoes, and more. So as you get more deeper into the wheel, you'll see more different types of categories. Even though it shows a lot of clothing, but they have a lot of clothing together. You just have to go around and see what you can find. And here is my dashboard that consisted of all of my data and the different type of visualizations I used all together. Some of the questions that I really wanted to answer was the pricing and the based on its category, the rating and review count, the selling pricing, and how they both differ from each other, and the different categories based off selling price and original price and the ranking of it. So as I shown before in the little circle of the spinning wheel, I call it the color spinning wheel. But I wanted to answer this question, and the question was answered, and the graph explains the product count that is sold by Nike and Adidas, and it shows the price based on its category. So as you can see here, the clothing for both of these and these two items, the original price was $55, and the Nike's selling price was $160. Moving along, I wanted to get the average rating and review count, and I also applied two filters that were applied to the Nikes and Adidas product name to avoid the null products. So as you can see here, and I showed before, was the different ratings and the review counts and how they all differ based on the product and the company. And this really answered that question, because even though they had like a lot of reviews and a lot of review counts and ratings, it showed how one item was more popular than the other and which item was like being bought more in that time compared to different times. Next is a bar graph that explains the Adidas has a higher selling price compared to Nike. Nike having a low end selling price, which doesn't surprise me because Adidas is prone to sell more shoes than Nike. But I was kind of surprised Nike wasn't a little bit higher because they have more celebrities that endorse their brand than Adidas. But also Adidas has bigger celebrities, for example, Beyonce, Kanye West, and many more. Lastly was this graph explains the different categories using the selling price and original price to rank the average rating. So as I stated before, this graph had the different categories, the Adidas selling price, the Nike selling price, the original price ranking of each rating of the selling price based on the category. So this really answered my question because it gave me a deeper look into what was the number one selling item in the United States, in which it was shoes for Adidas, and for Nike it was the clothing, which doesn't surprise me like I've stated because Nike has more trendier clothing than shoes. Some of the shoes are trendy, for example, like the Nike Dunks and the Air Jordans and stuff like that, but Adidas get more of their customers because they have the Yeezys and the Ivy Park collection, which is by Beyonce and Kanye West.